Oh, well, would you look at that? Week 1 NFL Fantasy is in the books. And what a tumultuous week it was. We had a lot of quarterbacks just not doing very well. One quarterback snapping his ankle on the fourth snap. That's, yeah, as a Jets fan, kind of ruined my season. Not gonna lie, was pretty annoyed. So let's take a look at what happened in week 1. I like to round it up in what I like to call the entourage, because basically there are like 5 people. There's an extra team. There's 10 teams now, so I do a winner on each of the. It's the picture of entourage. You know entourage. You know. Anyway, the Vinny Chase had to be Christian McCaffrey, star of the show, star of the San Francisco run game, star of the coach's sons, taking them to a solid win. The Johnny Drama Award, old school 80s brawn, goes to Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard carrying on his back the Gorillas to an emphatic win. Highest score of the league as well. No Namath. You see that? You know, when I was saying last week about how good the Gorillas are, and you kept going through their lineup going, look at that. Highest score? What? Yeah, that's what I thought. I can't wait to see the reaction video from the team with no Namath. I expect one now. The Turtle Better Than Expected Award goes to Anthony Richardson, 2092. Look, better than expected. I've got to hand it to you, team with no Namath. As much as I think you were wrong about the Gorillas, you were definitely right about that young man. He was very, very good. He was so good, in fact, that he's inspired me to put a couple of Colts onto my roster, because I'm going to need him after a not great week 1 for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You know what I mean? So anyway, the Ari Piven acting range award goes to Aaron Jones. The 24.7. He was catching passing touchdowns, running touchdowns in. Absolutely fantastic across the board. Great range. He takes Mixon to a very close win over the team with no Seamuth. Hot girl, because I had to add an extra one because there's an extra team. I noticed there's a hot girl in the background. And the hot girl that everyone wants to be with right now, especially in Miami, is Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, it's like nobody else existed to Tua. Do you know what I mean? Tyreek Hill was the only one for Tua. And hey, look, if you've got that in your lineup, you're going to be having a good time. Just like the 3-time champs, the Harlots did this week, getting to a win. The Terribleness Award, I was tempted to give it to Wokonkwo because he was terrible. Like, he got targeted 2 times and was just awful. He's so awful, in fact, he's now he's off the team for good. I thought I told you to trim those sideburns. You're out of here, Okonkwo. Hit the pine. Anyway, it had to go to Burrow. 3.18 from a quarterback who you're expecting as big things from Burt. Look, you expect that from Zach Wilson. You don't expect that from Joe Burrow. So the Terribleness Award goes to you, Joe Burrow. Be better next time, sir. The Sweet D Award goes to the Cowboys D. Despite being on the bench of the Harlots, put up 35 points, which is quite frankly ridiculous. The Giants should be ashamed of themselves. And that's a Sweet D. Sweet D right there. And yeah, as I said, the highest score of the week went to the Gorillas. And technically, when I was trash talking the team with no Namath last week, I said that he's got a trash roster. Both of his rosters are trash. And I stand by that. I think they are trash. Even though he did get the win, it was only because all my players seemed to think they were playing golf this week. They were going for the lowest score. I put up the lowest score of the week. But that's an anomaly. That's fine. I've had a chat with the guys in the locker room. Told them the idea is to get the highest score. Matteson didn't get the memo this week, so I'm going to have another conversation with him, I think. But that score for my team, that's an anomaly. That's a blip. The score for the team with no Namath is a fantastic score, considering his roster. Putting up like 65 points that's going to be your average, and you should be shooting for that every time. So congratulations to you. That was a really, really great performance. Getting that 64 or whatever it was, fantastic, really, really good. So wish you well in the rest of the season. Just as long as everybody's having fun, I'm still smiling. So let's have a quick look at what's been going on. A couple of things going on in the league. Obviously, one of the main things that we saw as a Jets fan was Aaron Rodgers snapping his ankle on the 4th snap. So there were 5 snaps, including the ankle. yeah, that's not great for the Jets. Obviously, Zach Wilson went in. I think it's too soon to put Wilson back in. I think he lost confidence last year, and now he's not going to be going in there with... No matter what he says, yeah, I'm going in with confidence now. Liar. That's just not... I saw the look on his face when he was asked to go in. That's not a confident quarterback, but he needed a year to play under Aaron Rodgers. Look, maybe with Rodgers on the sideline, in his ear, coaching him, mentoring him, maybe he can be better, but my confidence is shaken. I desperately need running backs, honestly, because my running back situation is not good. Mattison, we're having a word with him this week because he's just terrible. I picked up Zach Moss, but just because he's going to be number one in Colts. The Colts this week are going to have one heavy workload guy, and it's going to be Zach Moss. So I managed to pick him up as soon as I saw that he was healthy. If he's available in your leagues, I'd say probably pick him up if he's there. So. But looking at it, I've got like Dalvin Cook. The Jets are going to be playing from behind an awful lot now, and Breece Hall is the clear number one running back in New York. So Dalvin Cook's not even really a play. So I've got like one running back who hasn't messed the bed yet, and his name is Zach Moss. I need another running back. So I have a lot of wide receivers. Obviously, Wilson doesn't get played this week because they are going up against the Dallas Cowboys, and I don't like that matchup. But I have three wide receivers in Michael Pittman Jr., who's the far and away number one wide receiver for the Colts, and their quarterback is looking pretty good. Liked him last week. Brandon Ayuk as well, and Chris Olave. And I've got Lockett as a flex to put in to cover bye weeks. Wide receivers, I am fine without Garrett Wilson. So Garrett Wilson, thank you for all your service. You're being traded to the team to Baby Got Dak for Travis Etienne. I think that's a good trade for both of us. He needed some more depth at wide receiver. I desperately needed an RB1 because Travis Etienne he's the number one running back like by a country mile in the Jags offense. So we're going to see how that one works out. And yeah, so that's the trade news from this week. Let's move on to the matchup. So first one, Baltimore Ravens taking on the Legion of Mixon. As I mentioned, it's not been a good week for Mattison. Mattison really messed up. I'm going to have a real word with him. 1.9 from your lead running back, from the number one running back in Minnesota. Do you know what I mean? 1.9, look, I mean, look, as long as everyone's having fun, I'm still smiling. But that is just woeful. It's really made it quite difficult for the rest of my team. Honestly, I think the difference makers here, I've got my three wide receivers. They've all got good matchups this week. You know, Pittman against Houston, number one wide receiver there. Ayuk against LA, I think he's going to do more of the same that he did last week. Olave against Carolina, yeah, loving all of that. I picked up Henry, tight end for New England. Miami let up more points to tight ends than anybody, and he's clearly the number one tight end threat there. Browns taking on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh were terrible last week. So I'm putting the Browns in. I think they're the biggest difference makers. You've got Tua on the other side, going to be putting up big numbers. I think that'll be a shootout. Mixon, Montgomery, obviously. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm not big on Mari Cooper. Mari Cooper could be hit and miss. I think that Kincaid is a better option than Dawson Knox, so I don't really like his tight end. And I think for that reason, I've still got a chance in this one. The Baltimore Ravens are going to rise like a phoenix, and they're going to run a train all over the Legion of Mixon. Yeah! Oh, I'm kidding. I don't know. It's going to be... I'll be honest, Mattison has not put me in a good position this week. Look, I'm either going to come back with a ridiculous score because all my wide receivers have popped off, or I'm going to do the league's low score for the second week in a row. It's going to be one or the other. It's going to be... I'm excited to find out. I'm excited. As long as everyone's having fun, I'm still smiling. So anyway... Team with no name takes on the Dallas Trey Gorillas as well. That's an interesting one. Difference makers there. Look, Richardson looked really good last week, and he's playing Houston this week. That's going to be a good matchup for him. Pierce is dead. Jacobs good. Higgins meh. Lamb, yeah, he's probably going to put up some numbers against the Jets. You really wanted more from A.J. Brown. 2.9 is not great. 12 from your kicker Elliott. That is fantastic. But the star of your lineup, really, Hawkinson. Yeah, really good. That's helpful for you. But look, it looks like you've taken a massive lead. You haven't, right? You've got 33.5 off 3 players. Like, that's average. That's bang average. Just like your lineup. Just like both of your rosters. God damn it. And look, the Gorillas, they've got Pat Mahomes, Pollard, Breece Hall's going to put up numbers. I'll take out Odell Beckham Jr., honestly. I'll move him to the flex, swap him with Pickens, and then I'll take Odell Beckham out and put Algier in. That's what I would do. Algier against Green Bay. I don't know why you would play both Baltimore receivers, but hey, look, you're the top team in the league. Don't listen to me. You're clearly doing something right. So you know what? Don't take that advice. If that were my lineup, I would remove Odell Beckham, so I'd swap him with Pickens, remove him, put in Algier. But I think whatever happens, even if you don't do that, I think you win this week. Because I think Pickens is about to have a big game. Flowers, about to have a big game. Breece Hall, they're going to lean on the run a lot for the Jets. Big game. Pollard, huge game. Eagles D has already put up 9. You're golden. Yeah. The Gorillas march on to another emphatic win against the team with no Namath. Speaking of the team with no Namath, let's move on to the team with no Namath B, the team with no Shamuth. We've got Joe Burrow. He's probably due a bounce back week. He's taking on the coach's sons. Herbert. I'd say Herbert's probably the better option there. Got Javonte Williams and Cook. They're not touching McCaffrey and Gibbs, honestly. Like that. That's a matchup win for the coach's sons. Jamar Chase and Waddle. Probably better options. I don't know. DK Metcalf. I think Detroit versus Seattle is going to be a shootout. So I think actually playing DK Metcalf in that one, you probably beat out Waddle, but Jamar Chase probably beats out Allen. Kelsey, if he plays, look. No, the team with no Shamuth made a bold strategy last week. It turns out Kelsey is so good, you can play him even when he's not playing. Although it did result in a loss. Calvin Ridley, perfect. I think he's a better option than Mike Evans, honestly. 49ers D, they're going to be good. Packers D, I don't know. Atlanta scored a lot last week. So look, I'm not about to bet against the coach's sons. The coach's sons are too good. They're too consistently good, week in, week out, year in, year out. There are a few certainties in life: death, taxes, and the coach's sons having a solid lineup. I'll tell you that. And then you've got the Arizona Tits taking on the Indianapolis Colts. So the Arizona Tits had a rough week last week. Lamar Jackson contributed to that quite heavily, but you've got to trust him, right? You've got to put him in. You've got to put him in, right? You can't put him in over Cousins, or can you? Cousins sitting there on your bench, putting up 28 points. I'll tell you something for nothing, Arizona. Lamar Jackson, even if he does bounce back this week, he's not putting up 28. That's not happening. That's my lock of the week. You've already selected the wrong quarterback, frankly. But look, you had to put Lamar Jackson in. I get it. I do get it. But the NFL gods have already rendered it so that you have made the wrong decision already, and it's not even Sunday yet. And that's fantasy NFL. That's fantasy NFL in a nutshell. The NFL makes us all look like fools, especially me. And so look, Nick Chubb, Rashad White, both fantastic plays there, but I don't know if they're going to be better than Derrick Henry or Ramondre Stevenson, honestly. You've got Stephon Diggs and Shaheed, Godwin and Samuel. You win both of those. That wide receiver, you've got both of those down. I don't think Godwin's going to put up particular numbers. I think that Deebo Samuel is now like wide receiver 2 if he's lucky, and he's definitely 3 in the receiving threat behind Kittle and Ayuk. There you've got Mark Andrews, Komet. Mark Andrews plays. Mark Andrews is the guy. Dylan, yeah, that's a good play, actually. Najee Harris, but I think Najee Harris is probably going to have a better game this week. I think he's the better option. Butker, Bass is the better kicker. The Jets D is going to be huge this week. Dallas versus New York, I think the defenses probably put up more fantasy points than any of the skill positions. I think it's just going to be a massively defensive game. Dak doesn't look after the ball. Zach Wilson loves throwing picks. I think both of those defenses are must plays. I think the Jets are good for another 20-point defense, and for that reason, I think honestly with the other matchups that puts the Indianapolis Colts over the edge, because he's already got 25 points from Jalen Hurts, which is fantastic. That I don't think Lamar Jackson is going to beat Jalen Hurts' points there. So I am taking the Indianapolis Colts to welcome the Arizona Tits to big school by giving them their second loss on the season. Don't worry, Ali. I'm probably going to be there with you. You'll be in good company. Anyway, Baby Got Dak are then taking on the San Diego Harlots. Now, Baby Got Dak have taken a lead because they had Justin Jefferson in the Thursday night game. But in all honesty, I think I'd want more than 13 points from Justin Jefferson. What do you think? Dak, let me know in the comments, or someone let me know in the comments. Would you want more than 13 points from Justin Jefferson, in all honesty. I mean, that's about his floor. Justin Jefferson's so good, you expect better from him. But then, yeah, Prescott against Fields. Fields wins that. ETN versus Connor. ETN wins that. Bijan Robinson against Barkley. I think Barkley gets that. Jefferson versus Adams. I think Adams beats him there. Nakua versus Tyreek Hill. No contest. It's Tyreek Hill. And then you've got Waller against Taysom Hill. It really depends on how much they use Taysom Hill in the run game with... what's his name? What's the other running back? Kamara. Kamara isn't actually back yet, so they're probably going to use Taysom Hill in the run a lot. Waller's very good, but I'm going to lean towards Taysom Hill in that one. Jamal Williams, very good play, okay, against Sanders. Sanders, he probably gets the better of that. McManus against Falks, much of a muchness. Giants defense, that's brave. Cowboys D, that is an absolute dead cert. They're going to get, they're good for another 20 points this week. They're playing the New York Jets. They're playing Zach Wilson, who loves to turn the ball over. So for that reason, I've got to go with the 3-time champs, the San Diego Harlots, to get the win in that one. And that's all we've got time for this week. I'm really looking forward to seeing those who can make it down at the NFL Mansion tomorrow. I just love having American football back. And remember, as long as everyone's having fun, I'm still smiling. I'd like to say, screw both of the Namath lineups, both the team with no Namath and the team with no Shamath. I'm just kidding. It's look, as long as everyone's having fun, I'm still smiling. Let's see let's see if my team can overcome. Let's see if my team can win in spite of Mattison. That's what I'm shooting for here. I believe that they can. Just like I believe the Jets can upset the Dallas Cowboys this week. Just watch Breece Hall go in for 3 touchdowns and the Jets to get a win over the Dallas Cowboys. I might put some money on that. Don't put money on that. Terrible bet. Anyways, if I picked you to win, prove me right. If I picked you to lose, prove me wrong. See you next time.